I took the job because I needed rent money, not to fall in love with a married man. The Kang household was beautiful in the way expensive things are, all marble countertops and floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Gangnam. Cold, the kind of cold that comes from people, not temperature. Kang Siwon interviewed me in his home office. Tall, composed, with the kind of face that photographs well in business magazines. Alpha pheromones carefully suppressed, professional to the point of sterile. My daughter Hannah is 5, he said, sliding a folder across the desk. She needs consistency. Her previous nanny left rather suddenly. I glanced at the contract. The salary made my throat tight. 3 times what I'd been making at the daycare. Your mate? I asked because the question mattered. Works long hours. You'll rarely see him. Something flickered across Siwon's face. We keep different schedules. Red flag number 1. I ignored it. Hannah was a quiet child with her father's eyes and her own particular sadness. She didn't cry when Siwon left for work, just watched the door close and returned to her coloring books. She drew families, stick figures holding hands. Always 3 people. Never 4. Who's that? I asked, pointing to the smallest figure. Me. That's Appa. That's... She paused. Someone nice. Where's your other father? Working. She said it like a memorized answer. I met Yinwo 2 weeks in. He arrived at 3 a.m., and I only knew because I was awake with Hannah, who'd had a nightmare. He stood in the kitchen doorway, suit rumpled, tie loose, looking at us like we were trespassing. You're the new nanny. Not a question. Min Jae. I kept my voice low. Hannah was finally asleep against my shoulder. She has bad dreams often? 3 times this week. Something crossed his face, guilt maybe. Then it smoothed away. Keep her on schedule. Consistency helps. He disappeared down the hall. I heard a door close. Not the master bedroom. The house had rhythms I learned slowly. Siwon left at 7, returned at 8. Yinwo left at 6, returned anywhere between midnight and dawn. They'd pass each other some mornings, exchange brief words about Hannah or bills or whose turn it was to sign school forms. Never touched. Barely made eye contact. I'd worked for divorcing couples before. This was worse. Divorce was a wound healing badly. This was 2 people haunting the same house. Does it bother you? Siwon asked one night. I'd stayed up reading after putting Hannah to bed. He found me on the couch, book in lap, unable to focus. Does what bother me? Living here. Watching. He gestured vaguely. This. It's not my business. No. But you see it anyway. I should have lied. Should have smiled and said something about respecting privacy. Instead, I said, I see a little girl who thinks love means absence. He flinched. It should hurt. We're bonded, he said after a long silence. That's supposed to mean something. Does it? It means I can't leave without dying. Literally. Bond breaking kills. There are worse things than dying. He looked at me then, really looked. Like what? Like spending 50 years with someone who stopped choosing you. The air between us changed. I felt it like a temperature shift, like the moment before lightning strikes. His pheromones leaked through his suppressants, just slightly. Cedar and smoke. I stood. I should sleep. Min Jae. I stopped. Thank you. For caring about her. It's my job. Is it? I didn't answer. We both knew it had stopped being just a job. The touching started small. His hand on my shoulder when I was stressed about Hannah's fever. My fingers brushing his when we both reached for the same coffee mug. The way he'd stand too close when we talked, like he was starving for proximity. 2 months in, I had a panic attack. Stupid trigger. A smell that reminded me of my last relationship, my ex who'd bonded with someone else and left me with the emotional wreckage. I'd gone to my room to breathe through it, but the walls were too close and my lungs wouldn't work right. Siwon found me on the floor. Hey, look at me. He crouched, hands hovering, not touching. May I? I nodded because I couldn't speak. He pulled me against his chest. The alpha pheromones rolled over me, deliberate this time. Calming. My body responded before my mind could protest, tension draining, breath evening out. "There you go," he murmured. "I've got you." We stayed like that for 10 minutes. When I finally pulled away, his shirt was damp with my tears. "Sorry," I whispered. "Don't be." His thumb brushed my cheek. "Don't ever be." We almost kissed then. Almost. I saw the moment he thought about it, saw his gaze drop to my mouth. Then Hannah called from her room, and the spell broke. 3 months in, I stopped taking suppressants. I told myself it was because they made me nauseous, because I'd been on them for 5 years straight and needed a break. But I knew the truth. I wanted to see if he'd notice. If he'd react. He did. "You're not suppressing," he said one evening. We were cleaning up after dinner, Hannah watching a movie in the next room. "No. That's dangerous." "For who?" His jaw worked. "Min Jae. I'm an adult, Siwon. I can make my own choices about my body." "I know that. But if you're doing this because..." "Because what?" "Because I want you to smell me? Because I'm tired of pretending there's nothing between us." I turned to face him fully. That's exactly why. I'm bonded. I know. I have a daughter. I know. This can't go anywhere. I know that too." He crossed the distance between us in 2 steps. Kissed me hard enough to bruise. I kissed back, fingers tangling in his hair, 7 weeks of wanting compressed into 30 seconds. We broke apart gasping. "My room," I breathed. "After she's asleep." He came to me at midnight. We shed clothes in silence, urgent and careful at once. When he pushed inside me, I bit my lip to stay quiet and thought, this will destroy me. I did it anyway. For 3 months, we existed in stolen moments. Quick encounters between his meetings and her bedtimes. Learning each other's bodies like languages. He touched me like I was precious. I touched him like he was already gone. "What are we doing?" I asked one night, wrapped in his arms, knowing he'd have to leave in 20 minutes. "I don't know." "Will you ever leave him?" Silence. Then, "I don't know." Not no. But not yes. I should have ended it then. The pregnancy test was positive on a Tuesday. I took 3 more. All the same. I stared at the little pink lines and felt nothing. Then everything. Then nothing again. I'd known the risks. Omegas could conceive with bonded alphas, rare, but possible. I'd gambled anyway. Now I held the proof of my stupidity and couldn't even cry. I told Siwon that night. Showed him the tests laid out on my dresser like evidence. He looked at them for a long time. Okay. We'll figure this out. There's nothing to figure out. I'll handle it. Min Jae. I'll get rid of it. You don't have to do anything. Don't. His voice cracked. Don't decide that in the next 5 minutes. What decision is there? You have a mate, Siwon. A daughter. A life. I'm just. Don't say you're just anything. But we both knew what I was. The person who'd be erased to keep his real life intact. He transferred money that night. Enough for the procedure and 6 months of rent elsewhere. I looked at the number and understood exactly what I'd become. Something purchased. Something disposable. Something that had been stupid enough to believe in almost. I scheduled the appointment for Friday at 2 p.m. Thursday morning, I went through the motions, made Hannah breakfast, braided her hair, walked her to the bus stop. She hugged me extra tight before climbing the steps. You smell sad, she said. Children. They always know. Just tired, sweetheart. She studied my face with those 2 wise eyes. Min Jae, are you leaving like the last nanny? My heart cracked clean down the middle. No. I'm not leaving. I was lying. We both knew it. Siwon avoided me all day. He stayed in his office with the door closed, taking calls he probably didn't need to take. Coward. I cleaned the house with vicious efficiency, scrubbing counters that were already clean, organizing closets that didn't need it. Anything to keep moving. At 6 p.m., Hannah went to her friend Minji's house for a sleepover. The house fell silent. Just me, my thoughts, and the appointment confirmation on my phone. I was heating up leftovers when I heard the front door. Too early for Siwon. Wrong energy entirely. Ian was stood in the kitchen doorway, briefcase in hand, tie perfectly straight despite the late hour. His eyes locked on me with surgical precision. "You're home early," I said stupidly. "Anniversary." He set his briefcase down slowly. 10 years bonded. I thought I'd surprise my mate with dinner. The word mate landed like a slap. Intentional. He's in his office. I know where he is. Yeonwoo stepped closer. His alpha pheromones pressed against me, controlled, cold, nothing like Siwon's warmth. "I can smell you on him." Pulse, and I thought, maybe from proximity, living in the same house. My pulse hammered. But tonight, the scent is different. Fresh. And underneath it, his nostrils flared. Omega hormones. The specific kind that means pregnancy. The floor tilted. "Does he know?" Yeonwoo asked conversationally. "Of course he does. That's why he's been different this week. Distracted. Guilty." He laughed, sharp and bitter. "More guilty than usual, anyway." "I'm handling it," I forced out. "Handling it? That's clinical." He pulled out his phone, checked something. "You have an appointment tomorrow at 2 p.m. Women's clinic on Gangnam-daro." My blood went cold. "How?" "I've been monitoring his account since I first smelled Omega on him 2 months ago. The transfer he made to you was substantial. I wondered what it was for." His smile was a knife. "Now I know. It's none of your business." "None of my," Yeonwoo's composure cracked. "You're carrying my mate's child and it's none of my business? It won't be anyone's child after tomorrow." "Won't it?" He moved closer. "You scheduled the appointment. But you're still here. Still working. Still playing house with my family. I needed the money before I could." "Liar." The word cut through my excuse. "You're stalling. Hoping he'll choose you." Footsteps on the stairs. Siwon appeared, freezing when he saw us both. "Yeonwoo. You're home." "Anniversary," Yeonwoo said flatly. "Remember those?" The silence stretched like taffy, sticky and suffocating. "He knows," I said. "No point hiding now." Siwon's face drained of color. "Yeonwoo. How long?" Yeonwoo's voice stayed level. That scared me more than yelling would have. "How long have you been sleeping with our employee?" 3 months. 3 months. Yeonwoo nodded slowly. 3 months of coming home to my mate smelling like Omega. 3 months of excuses. Late meetings. Just work pressure. He turned to me. "Did he tell you about us? How we met?" I shook my head. "College sweethearts. Bonded at 23 because we were stupid and in love and thought feelings were enough." His laugh was hollow. "I worked 80-hour weeks to build my practice. For us. For the life he said he wanted. Big house, private school for Hannah, security." "I never asked for that," Siwon said quietly. "You didn't have to." Yeonwoo's control shattered. "That's what you do for your mate. You provide, you sacrifice, you." He stopped, breathing hard. "And while I was sacrificing, you were here. With him." "You were never here," Siwon shot back. "When's the last time you had dinner with your daughter? When's the last time you asked how my day was? When's the last time you needed me to?" Yeonwoo's voice dropped. "You had him for that." I stepped back, hitting the counter. "I should go." "Stay," Yeonwoo ordered. "You're part of this conversation. I'm not part of your marriage." "No, you're just carrying my husband's baby." "That's so much better." "Stop." Siwon moved between us. "Don't talk to him like that." "Like what?" "Honestly?" Yeonwoo's eyes were bright with rage and unshed tears. "Fine. Let's be honest. Min Jae, let me tell you what happens next. You keep that baby, you do it alone." "That's not," Siwon started. "I'm not finished." Yeonwoo's attention never left me. "Siwon stays with me. We have a daughter who needs stability. We have a bond that will literally kill him if it breaks. We have 10 years of history, shared property, legal ties. What do you have? 4 months of affair." Each word landed like a punch. "I'll support him," Siwon said. "Financially, emotionally." "Will you?" Yeonwoo finally looked at his mate. "You'll split custody? Introduce Hannah to her half-sibling? Explain to our families how this happened?" He stepped closer to Siwon. Or will you send checks and feel guilty and eventually, slowly, let it fade because it's easier than confronting it? You don't know that. I know you, Siwon. You're conflict avoidant. You shut down instead of fighting. Why do you think we ended up like this? Yeonwa's voice cracked. You stopped telling me what you needed. Stopped asking for what you wanted. Just quietly resented me until you found someone else. The truth of it hung in the air. I was lonely, Siwon whispered. So was I. Yeonwa's composure finally broke. Tears tracked down his face. You think I wanted to work until 3 a.m.? I did it because you said you wanted this life. This house. This neighborhood. I gave you everything you asked for and it still wasn't enough. I needed you, not things. Then why didn't you say that? Why did you wait until you had someone else to finally tell me I was failing? I couldn't watch anymore. I'm leaving. Good, Yeonwa said. Wait. Siwon reached for me. I stepped back. No. This is your marriage. Your bond. Your choice. I looked at Siwon directly. Are you leaving him? Siwon's hand dropped. Are you leaving him? I repeated. I have Hannah. The bond it would. Yes or no, Siwon? The silence answered. That's what I thought. I grabbed my jacket from the hook. I have an appointment tomorrow. Don't contact me again. Min Jae, please. You don't get to please me. You get to go to counseling with your mate and fix your marriage and forget this happened. I won't forget you. Yes, you will. Because remembering is harder than moving on, and you always choose easier. I walked out. Neither of them stopped me. I went to a friend's apartment, borrowed her couch, and stared at the ceiling until dawn. My phone buzzed 17 times. I ignored every message. At 1 p.m. the next day, I sat in the clinic waiting room. White walls, generic art, the smell of antiseptic. A teenager sat across from me, knee bouncing. An older woman filled out forms with shaking hands. Min Jae? The nurse called. I stood. Walked to the doorway. Stopped. I'm sorry, I said. I can't. Not today. The nurse nodded like she'd heard it before. Would you like to reschedule? No. I don't think so. I walked out into afternoon sunshine and called my boss at the agency. I need a new placement. Immediately. The Kang position? I thought that was going well. It's not. Can you help or not? She sighed. I'll make some calls. I quit that evening via text. Professional. No explanation. Siwon called 14 times. I blocked his number. Yeonwa sent one message. Smart choice. I didn't respond. 2 weeks later, I signed a lease on a studio apartment in Mapo. Expensive for the size, but mine. No ghosts. No memories. I was 3 months pregnant, unemployed, and more alone than I'd ever been. But I was done being someone's secret. Done being the easier choice. Just done. The studio apartment smelled like someone else's life, stale cigarettes and cheap air freshener. I scrubbed every surface twice before unpacking my 3 boxes of belongings. This was it. Everything I owned fit in the trunk of a taxi. I found remote work through a translation agency. Legal documents, medical papers, technical manuals. The pay was half what I'd made with the Kangs, but I could do it from my couch in underwear at 3 a.m. when pregnancy insomnia hit. Small victories. The nausea was relentless. Not the dramatic movie kind where you run to the bathroom. Just constant low-grade seasickness that made eating feel like a chore. I lived on plain rice and ginger tea, losing weight when I should have been gaining it. My phone stayed on silent, but I saw the notifications. Siwon texted every single day. How are you feeling? Please let me know you're okay. I just want to help. Min Jae, please. I responded once a month. Clinical updates. Ultrasound photos with no words attached. A grainy black and white image of a growing cluster of cells. Then a more defined shape. Then tiny fingers. Never, I'm scared. Never, I'm lonely. Never, I dream about you and wake up hating myself. Just photos. Proof of life. At 4 months, my friend Gina dragged me to her apartment for dinner. You look terrible, she announced, shoving a container of soup into my hands. Thanks. Great to see you too. I'm serious. When's the last time you left your apartment for something other than a doctor's appointment? I couldn't remember. She sat me down at her table, watched me eat with the intensity of a prison guard. The father. Is he helping? He's trying to. That's not an answer. He sends money. I don't use it. Why not? Pride doesn't pay for diapers, Min Jae. Because using his money meant admitting I needed him. Meant keeping a door open that should be welded shut. It's complicated, I said instead. Is he married? My silence answered. Oh, honey. Gina's hand covered mine. You didn't. I did. And now I'm here. Does he want to be involved? Doesn't matter what he wants. He made his choice. But the texts kept coming. Single. 5 months in, I ran into him at a grocery store in Hongdae. I'd taken the subway specifically to avoid anywhere near Gangnam, but apparently the universe had jokes. I was reaching for instant noodles when I felt it, that alpha presence, familiar as my own heartbeat. I turned. He stood 3 meters away, frozen, grocery basket hanging from his hand. We stared at each other. He looked terrible. Thinner. Dark circles under his eyes. Hair longer than he usually kept it. His gaze dropped to my stomach. 5 months meant I couldn't hide it anymore under oversized hoodies. The bump was obvious, round and real. Min Jae. My name sounded like a prayer. Don't. I turned back to the shelf. Please, I just want to. I said don't. I grabbed the cheapest noodles, moved past him. He followed. You're not responding to my messages. That should tell you something. Are you eating enough? You look thin. I'm fine. Let me, he reached out. I stepped back so fast I bumped into a display. Ramen packages tumbled. Don't touch me. His hand dropped. I'm sorry. Can we talk? 5 minutes. We have nothing to talk about. I think about you every day. Good. I hope it hurts. I walked toward the checkout. He didn't follow this time. I cried the entire subway ride home. Meanwhile, according to Gina, who still had connections in Gangnam circles, Siwon and Yeonwo were in intensive couples therapy. Twice weekly sessions. Date nights. Family outings with Hannah. They're really trying, Gina reported over coffee. Everyone says they seem better. I stirred sugar into my decaf and felt nothing. Good for them. Doesn't that bother you? Why would it? I hope they're happy. Liar. Fine. I hope they're moderately content and plagued by occasional regret. Better. At 6 months, I had another ultrasound. The technician smiled. Would you like to know the sex? I hadn't planned to find out. Knowing made it real in a way I wasn't ready for. But I heard myself say, yes. It's a boy. A boy. I was having a son. I sat in my car in the parking garage afterward, staring at the grainy image. Tiny profile, button nose, hands curled near his face. A whole person. Depending on me. Just me. Terror doesn't adequately describe what I felt. I sent the photo to Siwon. Added 3 words. It's a boy. His response came in seconds. Can I call you? I turned off my phone. That night, Yeonwo sent his first message in months. I saw his text. I know about the baby's sex. This doesn't change anything. I typed and deleted 5 responses. Finally settled on, I wasn't asking for it to. His reply, good. Keep it that way. At 7 months, Gina threw me a baby shower. Small gathering, her 2 friends from college, her sister. They brought practical things. Diapers, onesies, baby soap. No elaborate gifts, nothing that screamed celebration. More like preparing for a siege. To Min Jae, Gina raised her wine glass while I sipped water. Strongest person I know. I'm not strong. I'm stubborn. There's a difference. Stubborn keeps you alive. Strong is what you do with it. We ate cake. They played games. I smiled in photos. After everyone left, I sat surrounded by gift bags and cried so hard I thought I'd be sick. This was it. This was my life now. Raising a child alone while his father played happy family across the city. At 8 months, a package arrived. Expensive baby stroller, top-of-the-line car seat, designer diaper bag. No note. Didn't need one. I called a women's shelter, donated everything. Sent Siwon one text, stop. He did for 3 days. Then the messages resumed, softer now. I'm sorry. I just want him to have everything. Please let me do something. I blocked his number. He started emailing. I filtered those to spam. He sent letters to my apartment. I returned them unopened. At 8.5 months, I was waddling back from the convenience store when I saw him. Just sitting in his car outside my building. Not approaching, not calling. Just there. I walked past without acknowledging him. The next morning he was gone. But there was an envelope under my door. Inside, a check for more money than I'd make in 2 years. A handwritten note. I know you hate me. I understand. But please don't let him suffer because of what I did. This is for him, not you. For diapers, formula, doctor visits, whatever he needs. You don't have to forgive me. You don't even have to acknowledge this. Just please, let me do this one thing. I held the check over the shredder for 10 minutes. Kept it. Hated myself for keeping it. But pride doesn't buy formula, like Gina said. 2 weeks before my due date, Hannah sent a letter. Someone must have helped her address it. The handwriting was too neat. But the letter inside was all her. Dear Min Jae, I miss you. Appa says you're busy. Are you coming back? I drew you a picture. It's our family. You're in it. And the baby. Appa cried when he saw it, but he said it was happy crying. I love you. Hannah. The picture showed 5 stick figures. Siwon. Yeonwa. And a tiny figure labeled baby brother. I put the letter in a box. Couldn't throw it away. Couldn't respond. At 9 months, I was huge, exhausted, and so done with being pregnant I would have negotiated with any available deity for early labor. My bag was packed. Birth plan printed. Emergency contacts listed. Gina, my doctor, the hospital. No father listed anywhere. My son would have my last name. My history. My fighting chance at a life not defined by his beginning. I sat on my couch, hand on my enormous stomach, feeling him kick. It's just us, I whispered. But I promise that'll be enough. I didn't know if I was lying. But I'd say it until we both believed it. Labor started at 2 a.m. on a Wednesday. I woke to wetness and cramping, my body calmly informing me that today was the day. No panic, just clarity. I texted Gina, grabbed my hospital bag, called a taxi. In the cab, I stared at my phone. Siwon's blocked number. My thumb hovered. I typed, it's happening. Stared at it for 5 minutes. Sent it. Unblocked him long enough to see it deliver. Blocked him again. Labor was exactly as terrible as everyone promised. 18 hours of pain that rewired my understanding of suffering. Gina held my hand, fed me ice chips, didn't complain when I screamed obscenities. You're doing amazing, she kept saying. I hate you, I panted. I know. Push. At 8:47 p.m., my son entered the world screaming. Angry and red and perfect. They placed him on my chest, this tiny furious human, and I understood for the first time what people meant when they said instant love. Hi, Jiho, I whispered. I'm your Appa. He stopped crying, eyes trying to focus on my face. My heart cracked open and remade itself around him. Gina took photos, me and Jiho, exhausted and euphoric. He's beautiful, she said, tears streaming. He looks like an angry potato. The most beautiful angry potato I've ever seen. I filled out the birth certificate that night. Name, Kang Jiho. Mother, Mun. Father, Min Jae. The nurse looked at the form, looked at me, said nothing. Single Omega parents weren't unusual anymore. No mention of Siwon anywhere. Legally, Jiho was only mine. The next morning, I was dozing when I felt it, that alpha presence. I opened my eyes. Siwon stood in the doorway, looking like he'd run the entire way from Gangnam. Hair disheveled, shirt wrinkled, eyes wild. You came, I said flatly. I got your text at 2 a.m. Yeonwa, he stopped. He told me to wait. Not to go immediately. That it would look desperate. It took you 18 hours to stop listening to him? He flinched. Can I see him? Every instinct screamed to refuse. But Jiho was his son, genetically if not legally. I nodded toward the bassinet. Siwon approached like approaching a bomb. Looked down. Went completely still. His voice broke. He's perfect. Jiho was awake, staring at nothing with unfocused eyes. Siwon reached in with trembling hands, lifted him with surprising competence. Hannah had taught him well. "Hi," Siwon whispered. He stopped, looked at me. What am I to him? Biologically? His father. Legally? Nothing. Min Jae. You don't get to hold him and suddenly have rights, Siwon. You chose your family. This is mine. He's my son. He's my son. You're just the person who provided half his DNA. Siwon's jaw worked. He looked back at Jiho, who'd grabbed his finger with tiny starfish hands. He has your nose. And your everything else. That's not fair. Nothing about this is fair. I struggled to sit up, wincing. You should go. I'm tired. Can I come back? To visit. Why? Because he's my child. No. Hannah is your child. This is the consequence of an affair you want to manage from a distance. I held out my arms. Give him to me. Siwon hesitated, then placed Jiho in my arms. Our hands brushed. The contact hurt like touching fire. I want to be in his life, Siwon said quietly. You can't have both, Siwon. You can't have your comfortable marriage and your guilt baby. Choose. It's not about guilt. Isn't it? You feel bad, so you want to throw money at the problem and occasionally visit to feel like a good person. But you don't want the hard parts. The 3 a.m. feedings. The daycare germs. The questions about why he doesn't have 2 parents. You don't know what I want. Then tell me. Right now. What do you want? He opened his mouth. Closed it. The silence stretched. That's what I thought. I adjusted Jiho against my chest. Go home to your husband, Siwon. Go be Hannah's father. Let us be. I can't just. Yes, you can. You're very good at walking away from hard things. He left without another word. 3 weeks later, legal papers arrived. Siwon was suing for paternity establishment and custody rights. My hands shook reading them. I called the free legal clinic Gina recommended. The lawyer was blunt. He's not on the birth certificate. He'll need a DNA test to prove paternity, which you can refuse. If you agree and it's confirmed, he can sue for visitation or custody. Can he win? Depends. He's a married alpha with resources and a stable home. You're a single omega with limited income. Courts still favor traditional family structures. That's discrimination. That's reality. My advice? Negotiate before it goes to court. Set terms. Limited visitation, no overnights, supervised if you want. Keep control. I didn't respond to the papers. A month passed. Siwon's lawyer called. I didn't answer. At 2 months postpartum, Siwon requested a meeting. Neutral location, coffee shop in Itaewon. I almost didn't go. But Jiho needed formula, and I was tired of fighting. Siwon was already there, looking somehow worse than at the hospital. I sat across from him, Jiho asleep in a carrier against my chest. Thank you for coming, Siwon said. You sued me. This isn't a social call. I'm withdrawing the suit. I blinked. What? Yeonwoo pointed out that forcing my way into his life would only hurt everyone. You'd hate me. Jiho would grow up confused. Hannah would have questions we can't answer. He stared at his coffee. He's right. So what, you're just giving up? I'm respecting your choice. You said he's your family. I'm trying to accept that. Trying. I think about him every day. I dream about him. I see children his age and wonder if he's hitting the same milestones. It's killing me, Min Jae. Good, I said coldly. Now you know how I felt watching you go home to your husband every night. His eyes closed. I'm sorry. For all of it. Sorry doesn't change anything. I know. He pulled out an envelope. There's a trust fund. For Jiho. For college, emergencies, whatever he needs. You can't access it, only he can, when he turns 18. So you can't refuse it on pride. I should have thrown it in his face. Should have walked out. I took it. Because loving Jiho meant swallowing pride. Is that all? I asked. Will you send photos sometimes? Not to my number. I just want to know he's okay. Maybe. That's more than I deserve. It is. I left. 5 years passed. Jiho was in kindergarten now, all scraped knees and endless questions. He looked exactly like Siwon, those eyes, that smile. Strangers commented on how handsome he'd be when he grew up. He asked about his other father once. Where is he? Far away, I said. He can't be here. Why not? Because sometimes grown-ups make choices that mean they can't have everything they want. He chose something else. Did he choose us? The question gutted me. He tried to. But it was too late. Do you think he's sad? I think everyone in this story is sad, buddy. Even me. I pulled him close. No. You're the only good thing that came from it. You're my whole world. That's a lot of pressure, Appa. I laughed despite myself. You're 5. How do you even know that phrase? TV. Of course. One day, at Jiho's school festival, I saw him, Siwon, standing near the playground with Hannah, who was now 10 and beautiful. I froze. Our eyes met across the yard. Jiho was playing on the swings, laughing. Hannah was buying cotton candy. Siwon's gaze moved to Jiho. Stayed there. His expression was naked longing and grief. I took Jiho's hand. Time to go, baby. But we just got here. I know. But Appa's tired. We left. I didn't look back. That night, one email arrived. He's beautiful. Thank you for letting me see him, even from a distance. I hope he's happy. I hope you both are. I'm sorry I couldn't be what either of you needed. I typed, he's perfect. And he's mine. Don't come to his school again. I sent photos after that. Once a month. Just Jiho, smiling, growing, living. Never me. Siwon never replied. Never asked for more. Some mistakes don't get fixed. Some loves don't overcome reality. I learned to be okay with that. Jiho thrived. I survived. We built a life from the wreckage, small and imperfect and ours. Some nights, I wondered what if? What if Siwon had chosen differently? What if bonds didn't exist? What if love was enough? But most nights, I watched Jiho sleep and thought, this is enough. Because it had to be. And eventually we both believed it.